So have you ever wanted to play something like Honey Pot, but on the PS4 and Nintendo Switch? Well, with Kotodama, you sort of can. Now, Kotodama here, right, is a visual novel with Kinect-free gameplay, which is also PQube's first proper development title. But did they do a good job of it? Well, let's find out. Now, if you're new to my reviews, I like to do what I call the Mr. B format, where we look at the positives, the negatives, and the neutral areas, finishing off with my final thoughts on the game. Now, with all that said, let's go on ahead and begin the review. So, first positive is the story. Now, I'm sure most folk know already, the story is absolutely important to visual novels, and thankfully, Kotodama has quite the interesting story by investigating these 7 mysteries regarding the school that your game takes place at, if you actually join in the Occult Research Club as part of the story, which if you think sounds fun, then, well, you've probably guessed it already, it most certainly is. Another positive that I want to mention is the fact that you can actually determine your in-game character's gender and name. If you remember to my last review, Song of Memories, I had Marklad as the protagonist, so this time we have the absolute legend himself, Struan Lad, as the protagonist. You might know Struan Lad as the guy behind the Ginger Challenge and Killing Floor 2, so I told him about this game and he wanted to be named the protagonist, so there you go. So, because the game sounded like something he'd enjoy, would be a cult club, well, that's why I named him after Struan himself. On that note, Struan Lad himself here has a wee message for PQube if they ever release it on Xbox, so if it does ever come to Xbox, Struan Lad would more than likely be your first buyer. At the minute, you see, the game is only on PS4 and Switch, and I think Steam releases down the line, unless it's out at the same time, and someone can just say that in comments or whatever. Anyway, the other positive I want to mention here is the replayability. So considering we've got 3 different endings, as well as dialogue options, selectable genders and whatnot, I can imagine the different dialogue and maybe story options as a female character would be quite the interesting thing to see. And I'll more than likely have the female character run once I wrap up my male character run. Now, with the positives out of the way, it's time we look at the negatives. Now, the first negative I want to bring up is to do with the character voice volume. I'm not sure if someone had the mic recording volume a bit low or might have accidentally turned it down a bit during actually adding it into the game, but at times the character voice acting seemed to be a bit on the low end of the volume, and even after maxing out for volumes, I still had a bit of a hard time at times hearing the voices. Aside from that, voice actors did do a good job. The second negative is the user interface. Now, while the user interface is certainly quite pretty, when you hover over options, it kind of pulses like a light green colour, and with us folk with bad eyesight, I think it might be better if we had the option to turn it like a solid proper dark green so we can see it better, or even add the options to choose how we want the UI to look colour-wise, if that makes sense. And now for the neutral areas. For the hasty commenters that are about to complain asking about did I forget the honey pop stuff, calm yourself now, you silly potato, we're about to get into that. The first neutral area actually I want to talk about is to do with the Kinect-free stuff. Now, I find it fun. It's always fun connecting all your different combinations and whatnot, but it does tend to drag on slightly later into the game, unless it's just because I forgot to have my coffee, then maybe it's just me, but if they made it go maybe 5 to 10% quicker, I think that would be a good ideal pacing for the Kinect-free minigame. And as a side note, just in case you're wondering, you can access the minigame directly from the main menu after doing a character's Kinect-free minigame in the actual story. After you do that, you should see a wee pop-up saying that you can access it and play it. The minigame pacing is actually the only neutral area that I want to talk about, since all the other stuff has been covered previously in the positives and the negatives. So the final thoughts here before we end things off for my review. PQube, they did an excellent job of Kotodama, and I certainly do hope they continue doing more games like this. And if they fix the voice volume and maybe increase the pacing of your mini games, well, needless to say that Kotodama would certainly be quite the VN I would recommend to all folk who enjoyed playing Honey Pop and that they like a good story. And that's all from me, Tangociss, and I'll see all you lovely people next time. For all you good boys and girls who stay to the end of the review, here's what happens when you complete the Connect Free minigame. Make sure you wear headphones. I will also play in about 5 seconds just to give you a chance to put headphones on.